This is Dylan's around. You might hear him, you won't see him. And I've covered his number plate because we always do that if it's someone else's bike. No point covering that because you've seen it before on the channel when it was mine. Sometimes you have to give the bad news, but actually, you know, there's a lot of stuff wrong with the bike. From a kind of MOT point of view, the handlebars are bent, the tank's got something wrong with it so it doesn't seal, that won't pass an MOT. The rear sprocket looks on its way out. I normally don't worry about rear sprockets too much, but these are particularly sharp now, and you can see, I think it probably needs a bit of lubrication. Tyres are good, kind of some of the panel works that would need taping up and cleaning to pass an MOT. The rear brakes bent, that wouldn't necessarily pass an MOT, and then we've lost all the side fairing here, and we're only working on the indicators today for now, but ultimately it would need a lot of work to be kind of MOT-able at this stage. I would suggest street fighting the front end to get the best usage out of it, taking off all of that fairing, putting on a basic light. For ease, Dylan, for ease, Dylan, for ease, I would be, because you just want the bike to be okay, I'd be doing what we talked about, keeping these clocks there. It's annoying, it's ugly, but it's the easiest thing to do, and putting the new headlight underneath. I've done it before. That's the kind of route I'd be going down, because otherwise, there's no point buying all that front. There's no, you know, and it's too heavy as well. And actually, the only thing we're really doing today is putting on indicators to make sure that the bike's running safe. This has an LED relay in it, doesn't it? Yeah. Cool. So we'll show you. I've got rab jab on the indicators already a little bit, and Dylan's done some himself anyway. The main thing is that the old bolts are seized up in here, but with a bit of WD and some patience, we should be able to get that off.
I think if the original relay goes in, it will start hyper-flashing.
So the problem we've got at this stage is, doesn't matter if you press left or right, every indicator's indicating, so there's an issue there. We're going to try the original relay. You're doing what? Right, so we should now just have one light on the whole time. Right, is any light on?
No.
Right, hang on. What about now?
No.
What about now?
No.
No lights on?
Nope.
The original?
Yeah. Nothing's on?
Nope, nothing.
Alright, let's try the other side. So that is... That was earth and... Don't tell me the brake light's doing something when this is on. The actual brake. So guys, Paul you can see here, so you've heard Paul a couple of times at least. We'll keep Dylan off still. So we've tried different relays. We've tried bridging the relay. I think I've blown a fuse doing that. There's someone's wired something in here that's not right. It's a right pain when you mess around with wiring on a bike like this. Ultimately, all the indicators are flashing at the same time. If there used to be a hazard light on here, that would make sense. But there has never been, I believe.
No, 125 never have.
Some do. Some. I've seen some, I believe.
Maybe the Chinese.
Some of the new Chinese ones do. So we're now looking for the fuse box to see if there's anything obvious going on there. Alright guys, final fix. Paul Laguna sorted it out. Basically, the bulb, it's all been converted to LED, but the bulb is still a bulb. That was causing problems. Or there's a short in the wire up there. Simply disconnect the two wires that are doing the dash light and everything's back to normal. I mean, I'm rubbish with electrics. I would have got there in the end, but it would have taken me days. Paul got there in an hour, so extremely handy. The actual cap doesn't sit well in here. It's all been bent out of shape. We're seeing if we can bend it back into shape to get it to get the cap to be able to seat. At the moment, it's an MOT failure as it is. Get light till now, Dales. 4?
About 4 o'clock.
I don't know if we'll get them on.
You do it, come on.
Lifted it.
I think you did get that out a bit there. If you do this side now, Paul.
It's done that side.
There's just 1 or 2 in there, Charlie.
I don't know.
Petrol tank. I fixed it. I cut everyone else out, mate. I reckon that's back to normal
Yeah,
there.
you just got to get that crease out, and then what we'd do is stick that behind it and just hammer it back a little bit. Then is, I don't know if you want to get a screwdriver and just pop it.
I think you might be alright there, you know.
I just think it's,
If you put the hammer on there, won't you put it out a touch more now?
what's that? I think it's out far enough now.
You reckon?
Yeah, I just want to push the excess bendy bits that have come like lipped out. Actually, do you want to do it with a screwdriver?
I don't know what I'm doing. What exactly am I doing?
Oh, that's it. I'll show you. Don't let them fall in.
Yeah, good idea. So you see, we had to pull this lip out, guys, because it wasn't hooking. But
And then if you just whack that bit flat,
right, one more whacking. This bit here.
that's it. Keep going. That's it. And again.
Oh, I see. You're trying to neaten up.
Yeah, just flatten it out.
I reckon you're alright there. I reckon the lid's going to catch.
Moment of truth.
It looks worse than it was. It looks a bit neater, actually.
It's still not that.
I mean, if you were street fighting this and keeping it, I'd probably go for that new second-hand tank. I'd probably save you all the hassle. You've got till April, innit? When all else fails, get the big hammer. What you'd have in the past was a seal in there, and it wouldn't have looked so bad.
Yeah. Mind you, now it might be because that edge is raised up, so now we can touch that.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is edge lifted a bit. Can you imagine if there was a spark fall? What is it? What is it?
Yeah, but it's
We just spent ages pulling that out. You put it back in.
It's flush now.
That's not bad.
Oh, nearly.
That's not bad.
Is it supposed to like click in?
Yeah.
It should just sit a bit flush. That's the best we've seen it all day. That's not too bad.
I wish we could
That's
see
that's
inside.
not bad. They might even scrape that through an MOT. That's about the best you're going to get
I
it.
wish we could see inside. See where it's not actually latching.
Do you know what? That's fine. That's much better than it was.
You can always put tape right on there, opening it up all the time.
Yeah, in the past you'd have a rubber seal around there anyway. Yeah.
1 hour later.
So, just before we wrap up, Paul said at least test the valve. Whee! Yeah, looks spot on. I think that's spot on. I'm going to get the spring out and see if I can get that seated, because then we'll know that all we have to do is put the top of the head back on at some point and fire up that little Chinese bike. Sadly, it's not going to be this weekend, but next weekend we may be able to look at it after we've put on the Wassaus. Let me see if I can get this seated. Alright, guys.
Your valve has dropped down, isn't it? You drop the valve and then it smash against the piston.
It would do the same thing. Yeah. What we've realised, guys, is that we have the wrong capture. I don't know what these are called.
I call them keepers.
Keepers, makes sense. So we're missing one. This, what we thought was the pair, isn't the pair. You'd be able to use it, but they would be upside down, so it wouldn't make sense. And looking in the box, the other one's not there. Everything else is, but that's not. So I need to order one of them. There's no point putting in a brand new valve. That's not the new valve. Look how bent that is. No point putting in a brand new valve with the wrong keepers, because that would be shocking. So I'll order them. They're not going to take long. I haven't got any more time this weekend anyway, because I'm busy tomorrow. But we should get that back together tomorrow. Alright guys, wrapping up for the week. Loads and loads of work done today, but not a lot of filming, which is kind of common here. We need to kind of sort out the valve on that next week. We need to put on the wassails next week. John will be here next week. Nat is currently painting the tank for this, so he's put up the first video already. That's Nat's Knacker's yard if you want to see it. And the next video will he'll put up soon. I think I'm waiting for it like all of you are. Yes, next weekend I'm hoping to get the Triumph carbs on, the valve back on there, and bits and pieces done. We might see that Chinese bike fire up next weekend ish, if I can, you know. That's just one part of the issue. I need to be able to get it to put back together, you know, and functioning, and I need to find the parts as well. There's somewhere. But yeah, ultimately over the next couple of weeks, my main thing today, I really wanted to get the wassails on, but little Dylan was actually quite cool today. He was looking, watching, learning, and it was helpful figuring out that issue for him. Honestly, a mechanic would have charged him 3 or 4 hours work, I think. And mechanics are what, £75 an hour at the moment in London, something like that. So it would have cost a lot of money. And the Piaggio Flyer we did get done in the end. I'm waiting for him to come back and pick it up. I need him to give me an actual time, so I'm not hanging around tonight. But really fun today. I didn't show Steve on camera. I didn't show Steve's mate.
Busy today in the garage.
But the garage was very busy today. But out of respect to their bikes, and because Steve brought his friend, who I don't know yet, I kept him off camera, which is fine. Drop a comment, drop a like, and hopefully we'll get some more work done next weekend.